Actor Chris Hemsworth has really left his stamp on the character of Thor, and he reinvented the character to great success in the subject of today's video, Thor Ragnarok. Marvel is known for its trademark humor. In the MCU, sometimes the humor works better than others at times, but in my opinion, no other MCU film uses comedy better than Thor Ragnarok. What sets Thor Ragnarok apart is how it makes a sense of fun and playfulness integral to its story structure. The ironic tone immediately lets us know not to look for any lofty agenda here. This is a comic book film that unapologetically indulges in all the zany, fantastical excesses of its corny superhero roots. What makes the film special is its unabashed sense of fun. Unlike some other MCU features, Thor Ragnarok doesn't feel like just an obligatory stepping stone to another film in the franchise. It stands on its own in great part due to director Taika Waititi's irreverent tone, where even the mighty Thor can fall on his ass, acts juvenile at times, and has his insecurities, which are played up for laughs. Thor's makeover into a hero/fool infuses a light-hearted playfulness into the character's Shakespearean weightiness. Whether gods or humans, this film doesn't care much for authority. The gods here are not limitless in power. They are flawed, embodied beings just like the rest of us. In this way, the film stays true to its Norse source material, where the gods are imperfect, swayed by petty emotions, even subject to death. For example, after his evil sister Hela destroys Thor's hammer, there's a great bit on the trash planet Sakaar, where a joke is made about Thor's unhealthy attachment to his hammer, which is seen as similar to that between a lover and a loved one. It's pretty on the nose. The joke here plays up the idea of his hammer as a phallic symbol that he interacts with sexually. At least that's how I took it. It is Disney, so they don't go too far with it, but the sexual innuendo is definitely there. For me, the whole side adventure on the planet Sakaar is the best part of the film. This entire second act shifts the story into a dystopian sci-fi scenario. I love dystopian films and thought it was a brilliant idea to have Thor temporarily lose his powers, only to end up on a trash planet as an enslaved gladiator forced to fight to the death for public entertainment. Thor's fight with the Hulk is fun, and it is pretty awesome to see these two heavy hitters in the comic book world have a smackdown fest. I appreciate how they leave it a little ambiguous which of the two won the fight. Thor and the Hulk/Bruce Banner also have a great buddy dynamic. After the Hulk transforms back into Banner, who has lost all memory of the past 2 years, I laughed when Thor gloats about winning the fight, to which Banner replies, "That doesn't sound right." Tessa Thompson's Valkyrie is also a hot mess and a great addition to the cast. Her character immediately endeared herself to me when she fell off her ship in a drunken stupor. Like with Thor, I think it was a great idea to displace these gods and superheroes from their traditional mythical roles. Here, she goes from being a legendary warrior into a slave trader for the Grand Master, who assigns her the depersonalized name Scrapper 142. I think removing these larger-than-life characters from their mythical abode on Asgard helps to ground, humanize, and give dimension to their characters. Jeff Goldblum's comedic performance as the rakish and charismatic Grand Master, a narcissistic powermonger who is hilariously nonchalant, jaded, and laid back, is a great counterpoint to the more traditional villain, Hela. Hela is the classic superhero villain. She's flat and one-dimensional in her evil mission to expand Asgard's empire to the entire galaxy, essentially conquering the universe. While Hela is an actual goddess, the Grand Master is just a guy with a god complex. He's kind of similar to the Wizard of Oz, a charlatan or illusionist who creates a godlike aura around himself, brainwashing the foolish masses and keeping them docile by feeding them a steady diet of mindless entertainment. His decadent empire is literally built upon a garbage heap. Grand Master is the epitome of the idiot king, whose throne ironically sits upon ruins. Hela's bid for absolute power also leaves her empire in ruins and destroys her in the end. Whereas the Satar side adventure is more sci-fi in tone, Hela's story arc takes us back to an epic fantasy backdrop of gods and superheroes. It's amusing to compare Hela's one-dimensional superhero villainy with the Grand Master's laughably petty corruption. In this way, the Grand Master shares traits with Loki, and it makes sense that Loki, the trickster god, would find Satar the perfect playground to exploit his powers of deception and manipulation. When Thor arrives on Sakaar, he finds that Loki, who has already gained the favor of the Grand Master, is already plotting and scheming as usual. I love the joke about the Grand Master's dislike of referring to his slaves as, well, slaves. I see Thor Ragnarok as a kind of hybrid of fantasy and sci-fi. I think the sci-fi dystopian elements in Sakaar add a freshness and satirical edge to Thor's world, allowing Thor to play around in a different genre outside the main story arc of Asgard's rise and fall. It was refreshing to see Thor temporarily lose his superpowers, leaving the mythical heights of Asgard to wade through a dystopian hell of charlatan leaders and brainwashed masses. Despite its ironic tone, Thor Ragnarok still gives you everything you want in a superhero movie. Thrilling comic book style action, great visuals, and, of course, epic superhero landings. Honestly, I can put this film on any day of the week and will always have a blast. It has a similar sense of escapist fun as some of the cartoons I watched as a kid. You can just forget about all your troubles and lose yourself in a fantastical world of muscle-bound heroes, over-the-top villains, and wild adventures. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I would love to hear your comments and thoughts about what are some of your favorite comic book films. And also please hit the like button and subscribe because I love making these videos and it is a big help to get my content out there. Anyway, I hope you're all doing well and I will see you in the next video. Bye.